Okay, I'm here with our special guest, Youssef from OzHadou. Hello, Youssef.
Hi, how are you?
Not too bad, thank you. So, tell us a little bit about community esports.
So when it comes to the FGC, you know, the C stands for community, and I feel a lot of times people don't actually take that C into consideration as much. I mean, we are still, if you're looking at the grand scheme of things in esports, not just Australia, but like worldwide, we're still very grassroots. So we are very much supported by the people that just come out to play and have fun. That's where like 99% of the effort and the organization and the work comes from. So yeah, it's very community based. We bring the setups for different games. We set up everything from a ground up. When we go home, pack up everything and take them back with us. So yeah, very close knit. Even though there's so many different games that fall under the FGC umbrella, yeah, everybody's pretty much one big dysfunctional happy family, I guess. Yeah.
Thank you. And what does it mean to be a fighting game fan?
The thing that you hear a lot of people say is, come up for the fighting games, stay for the friends. Stay for the people. So a lot of my closest friends are from playing fighting games. So they're a great medium to just, release some stress, have fun. I know it's cheesy as, but meet like-minded people.
Yeah.
I like to play fighting games. You like to play fighting games. That's already step one. Overcame. It's a great experience. Like I said, everyone's close-knit, very supportive, very welcoming. I mean, the games we play are hella awesome and hella hype, and they really draw a lot of reactions from people playing and watching. Even though each match lasts a few minutes, it really makes you feel like a range of emotions, from beginning to middle to end. And in 2018, it's a great time to be a fighting game fan. I mean, with the progress of esports, even though we're kind of way at the tail end of it, because we're all the way down in Australia. It's more opportunities in the scenes, definitely for organizers as well, not just players. And the scene is definitely growing and improving, and we're seeing new faces all the time. So definitely a great time for anyone who has any passing interest in fighting games to come out and check out the local scene, be it in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, anywhere around Australia. Definitely do check it out.
So I think you may have touched on this a little bit, but how would you say that the fighting community is different from other gaming communities?
How long do you have?
1 hour of battery time left.
Not enough. So the thing with fighting games is because a lot of like I said, we're still very grassroots in the way we run things, and a lot of the stuff, how we behave and compose ourselves, come from the arcade mentality, where it's just very gritty, very raw, very in your face. And if you compare that to a lot of other games in the whole esports bubble, they're very more tame, very more, I want to say professional with quotation marks, because it's different ways to me professional in my opinion. Very more professional, very more PC, very more good game, man, good game.
Sanitized?
Yeah. Very I'm like, come on, clearly that's not how you're feeling right now. Show some more emotions. So I feel because of fighting games, we're still very grassroots, and we come from this era of very, pointing fingers in your face. I'm a wreck you, I'm a ruin you. We still kind of look like, maybe not yet, maybe they're not ready. But like I said, we are slowly kind of climatizing with esports as a whole. I definitely believe there's a middle ground that we can achieve that just pleases everyone across the board. I don't quite feel we're there yet, but the great thing is different companies are showing interest, and they're trialing different stuff out. Can this work and that work, and over the last, I'd say, year or two, a lot of methods have been implemented to kind of fully embrace FGC as an esports workhorse, to say. And yeah, that's why I feel it's just a bit raw and untapped, but definitely a middle ground can be reached, in my opinion.
So, do you have a preference for fight pads, fight sticks, or keyboards?
Yeah. So, being an old school player now, I started playing back in 2005. So it's been a while for me now. And of course, when I first started, just play at home, on the PlayStation pad and whatever. And then I went to the arcade, and that was the absolute biggest game changer for me. You know, seeing all these people play on the arcade cabinets with sticks and that. And a few years later, you know, I just made the transition to an arcade stick and never looked back. It feels like it's such a familiar feel to me now. Like holding an arcade stick is like no different to me than holding a fork in my hand. Like that's how like in tune I am with an arcade stick. And if I play, even if I go back to a PlayStation pad, which, you know, I use for like other games, non-FGC games, whatever, like if I'm trying to play like my game of choice, which is Tekken, I'm just like, what is this weird contraption? So yeah, for me definitely it's arcade stick, because I spent the beginning of my time in playing fighting games at the arcade. And when I traveled as well, like overseas, Japan for example, they're very strong on arcade culture as well, so you kind of have to learn how to, you don't have to learn, but it's just infinitely better to be an arcade player. So yeah, arcade stick definitely my weapon of choice.
So can you tell us a little bit about the history of OzHadou and the York Street battles?
OzHadou as the group started in 2001 by two stand-up dudes by the name of Ziggy and Fab. That's their handles. They know who they are. You know, they're like, to me, they're like the godfathers of the Australian FGC. Like I always tell people, Ziggy to us is like what Apocalypse is to the X-Men. He's the first one, and from him we all came right after. So yeah, I have nothing but absolute mad love and respect to Ziggy. But moving on, so yeah, OzHadou started 2001 by two gentlemen. They just wanted to be like, hey, you know, America can do it. Why can't we do it? You know, we want to bring people over to play as well. Let's run this tournament and let's make it happen. And then here we are now, like 17 years later, and running strong. You know, longest running tournament in Australia. As for York Street, I don't remember what year exactly it was that we stumbled on it. Maybe it was around 2013 or something like that, if I want to say. But it's been definitely like a few years here. As with every year, we run the nationals, and every year we're growing. We're seeing more people come out, and of course, you need another venue, you know, to accommodate the people. We found it, I think, about 5 years ago, maybe a bit more, and then it gotten so big to the point where it's like 1 year we ran the nationals in it, but then the next year we got so big it became a monthly event. Like that's how much we grew, like in the space of 12 months. So yeah, and they've been great to us. Everybody knows YSB. We're kind of locked into the name because we can't change YSB because it's York Street Battle. So it's like we need to move to another venue maybe because the numbers are getting too much, but then we have to change the name. So it's like we're kind of caught in this catch-22 scenario. But yeah, no, it's a great venue. We're doing really good. The monthly is always growing, always new faces, always new interests. I mean, you guys are here, you know, checking us out. You know, thank you for that. But yeah.
Well, congratulations on your growth.
Thank you.
And what kind of players do you get at these monthly events? What characters, I should say.
We get people from, honestly, like there's a few people here from Newcastle that make the trip every month. A lot of people come up from Wollongong as well. If you're in the Sydney, Greater Sydney, like, and if you want to attend the monthly, this is the only one we got of that scale. Honestly, it's just so inclusive and welcoming. Like, what type of characters? Like I said, we have like so many games, because when you compare FGC to other games, say if you're someone who just plays LoL, then that's your game, LoL. Like, you know what I mean? You watch LoL, you're into LoL, you tune into Worlds when they happen every year. You know, if you're into, like say WoW, I don't know, same thing. But with FGC, because there's not just one game. There's, you know, you got your Tekkens, your Street Fighters, your NRS games, you got your Smash games, you got your different anime games that fall under the smaller umbrella within the FGC, you know, the anime umbrella. So we just had two people set in our pocket. They've been coming for the last couple of YSBs. And it's always interesting seeing and meeting different people, and, you know, just seeing why they love the game and understanding, like, I try to play all fighting, or as many fighting games as I can, just because I want to know, like, why you like this game, and, you know, and then I'll tell you why I like my game, and then we can talk, and, like, you know, we can grow, because there's debate and communication. We might disagree, but at the end of the day, we're all sharing the same passion. So, and same thing, like, because I honestly talk and interact with so many different people from so many different communities, like, it's super interesting. Like, you're always learning something new, you're always finding something different about another game they change your perspective all the time. They make you look at something from a different angle. You're like, oh wow, I didn't consider it. So it's a never-ending, evolving nature of events.
Okay, and so what do you envision will be the future of the fighting community?
The $1 million question. It's going back, like I said. I mean, we can all agree esports is here to stay. Even though there's some people within the FGC community who are totally anti-esports, whereas they're more like the old school people. And I feel I kind of fall under the umbrella of old school, not the umbrella of I'm against esports. And there's new people who are just fully like engulfed and enthralled by the idea of like, yeah, esports, I want to play video games, I want to get paid, I want to be on TV, blah, blah, blah. And they're more kind of the newer generation, I feel, in my opinion. I am like apprehensive, but at the same time, like I said before, like we can reach a happy middle, and I definitely welcome esports, into the FGC, but on the right terms. If you're just been working for like myself, I started playing in 2005, I started organizing stuff in 2006. So for 12 years now, it's like I've been laying the foundation and the groundwork for something, and then this random big hotshot name comes in. It's like, yeah, you did an excellent job. All right, we're gonna take over everything right now, and just do you mind just sitting there? Oh, what's that? Is this how you do it? No. This is how we want to do it. Doesn't matter, we don't have any experience. No, we got the money, so this is how we're gonna do it. And like the reason why people sometimes get a bit annoyed with esports is because they just want to do their own thing, and like they don't even consider what was happened before or all the work that's been done before. So I know I keep saying middle ground, but I feel it's something very important. You can't please everyone. That's one. If anyone thinks you can please everyone, they're wrong. That you're living in a fantasy, man. But you can always do your best to try to please as many people as you can. I genuinely think good things are coming for the FGC. I don't think it's gonna happen in the next 2-3 years. I think personally I'm looking at like about the 5 years mark, where something substantial can happen, and something cohesive between the esports overlords and the FGC peasants, where we could be like, yes, what I mean? But I'm very optimistic, and I'm definitely looking to the new opportunities that esports will bring to the FGC. And I have faith in the FGC that we won't lose our way, because we're too stubborn and too hard-headed. So, you can swing, like, flash all the money, talk a big game, and then they're like, yeah, but nah, it's not how we do things, what I mean? Like, you gotta see my point of view so I can see your point of view. So, yeah. But, yeah, that's what I think. Like, I genuinely want to believe it's progress and opportunity, but at the same time, like, on a personal level, I am not a pushover. Like, you can't just come in and just impose your will on me. And now, think of like thousands of me, what I mean? So it's like, that's the FGC. You can't just come in and just like, just perk us around, just impose your will. So as long as there's, dialogue and there's communication, esports, it's a great thing. Like, it's, people have wanted it for years. I feel people also wanted the idea of esports more than actual esports, what I mean? They were just too like in love with the idea of esports as opposed to what esports actually was. That's why I feel it was a bit of a rude awakening for some to like, oh, is this how esports is? Is that how it works? Long story short, definitely a lot of opportunities, definitely room to advance. And I mean, look, at the end of the day, if esports gonna bring more people into my scene, so more people can play fighting games, more people can have fun, then hell yeah, I'm all for it. Yeah.
Sure. And is there another aspect to esports and fighting games besides just the actual competition?
Of course. For example, one thing that people like to talk about these as like the storylines, people and players and spectators get behind. So for example, tonight we have a bit of a grudge/exhibition match happening between arguably the two best Dragon Ball FighterZ players in Sydney at the moment. So we have Didi, aka Dialogue, Sydney born and raised, everybody knows him, everybody loves him. And then we have this new guy that recently came into the scene, Tanu, from America. And then he just kind of been bullying Didi around, and Didi's like, nah man, I'm not going to stand for that. So, and people get behind that, it's more than just, you know, I beat you, you beat me, you know, that's it, that's the end of it. But it's also like seeing the friendly rivalries, people overcoming obstacles, you know, people cheering, people crying, you know, people losing their shit. So stuff like that, storylines. Also, community spirit is something very, very massive in the FGC, and that's always another reason why, like, without segueing too much, I'm not actually meant to be here at the moment, like in OzHadou. I'm actually on like a sabbatical, as if to say, but like you can't leave, you know what I mean? Because even now, like, I help the current tier who's looking after things in my absence. When we bring the stuff, like 10 people just swarm me and they're like, hey man, Youssef, do you need something? Do you want us to help you? Do you want us to set up? Like stuff, and half of them are people I don't know. There's like, I don't know who you are, but thank you, I'm Youssef, nice to meet you. If you mind just setting up this, you know, PlayStation, well, I'll just do that. Everybody, like, that's why you come back, because it's not a front. When someone asks you how are you, they genuinely mean it. Like, you know, they're not just like chit-chatting, you know, making small talk. So storylines, community spirit, and above everything, fighting games are the best. So, you know, why would you not want to play fighting games? So yeah.
That's the objective opinion of Youssef.
Definitely the most objective opinion. Yeah.
Sure thing. And be sure to stick with us because we have an exclusive interview with Tanu. We do. But just to wrap this interview up, if people wanted more information about OzHadou or the York Street Battles, or you personally, how can they get that information?
Me personally, I'm kind of like I said, because when I took some time off, I'm kind of off social media at the moment, so you can't find me at the moment. But soon. For OzHadou stuff, www.ozhadou.net, that's the website. Find us on Facebook, OzHadou. Find us on Twitter, OzHadou. Join. One very important thing, because of, you know, social media and the death of the forums, there's a Facebook group called Official Australian Fighting Games Community, or AFGC, OAFGC, Official Australian Fighting Games Community. It's the central hub of all the information. So just find the group, join the group, has all the information you need for anything, mainly Sydney, New South Wales focused. And from there, even if you're like, hey, I'm from Tasmania, where should I go? Then people will point in the Tasmania direction. But yeah, just as a starting point, just honestly, one thing I've been telling people for like since ever I joined, like about 2-3 years after I joined the FGC, and like discovered what a wonderful place it is. I've always been pushing for people to join and partake and play. And the first step is always the hardest step. And like on almost anything you do in life, that taking that initial step is the hardest. But I've yet to meet anyone who took that initial first step and they're like, no, the FGC is not for me. And I've been here since 2005, like 13 years later. There's been a single person that like, yeah, I'm gonna come out once, and then after that, nah, not for me. Like, so, like I said, if you have any passing interest, you just like to mash buttons into Street Fighter or whatever, find the Facebook group, introduce yourself. Someone straight away, 10 people will be like, who you are, what do you do? Yeah, come out to this. Do you live there? You can come out to my house. Everyone's super accommodating, everyone's super welcoming. So yeah, first step, most important step, do it.
That's a glowing recommendation. So this has been Youssef from OzHadou. Thank you very much for your time.
And thank you guys for trying to showcase the little crazy bubble that we live in that is called the FGC. We appreciate it.
We wish you all the best. Back to you guys.
Thanks a lot.